Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Tonight we're diving into the Pittsburgh Steelers' latest win, and let me tell you right now, I don't care how they pulled off this 13-6 road victory against the Denver Broncos. A win is a win, right? It doesn't matter if it was a bit ugly. The Steelers got it done, and that's what counts. Now, here's the kicker. This win came with Justin Fields starting as quarterback in just his second game with the Steelers. Yep, you heard that right. Fields has now won 2 straight games as Pittsburgh's starting quarterback. And look, I'm a Green Bay Packers fan, but I have to give credit where it's due. Malik Willis may be different than Fields, but here's the thing. Justin Fields has stepped in and made it work when it mattered. Let's rewind for a second. Before the season started, Russell Wilson was Pittsburgh's QB1, no question about it. But with Russ dealing with injuries, Fields has had to step up these past 2 games, and folks, he's delivered. 2 wins in a row with a backup quarterback, you take that every day of the week. Now, there was a lot of talk at the start of the season about the Steelers' quarterback situation. Is Russ past his prime? Will there be a quarterback controversy with Fields in the mix? But honestly, if you're winning games, does it really matter? Fields has shown he can get the job done, and we've seen that over the past 2 weeks. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying Fields is about to lead the Steelers to a Super Bowl. I've watched him a lot back when he played for Chicago, and I'm not sold on him being the guy long-term. But for now, he's doing what needs to be done, and you can't ask for much more from a backup. The Steelers are going to ride this momentum for as long as they can. Oh, and before we dive deeper, if you're enjoying the content, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe for more NFL and Steelers content. Let's try to hit 250 likes on this video. It would mean the world to me. Now, back to the Steelers. I've been saying this all summer. It really doesn't matter if Wilson or Fields is under center because this defense is elite. They're one of the best in the league, hands down. Sure, today they were up against Bo Nix, who's only played 1 NFL game coming into this, and the Broncos are coming off a rough season. But hey, a win is a win, especially with a backup QB. Fields has now won back-to-back games, and trust me, every team in the NFL would take that. Pittsburgh is off to a 2-0 start, and that's the bottom line. Yes, they only put up 13 points today, and sure, there's always room for improvement, but let's not get caught up in the negatives. The defense is holding strong, and the offense is doing enough to win. This afternoon, the Steelers controlled the clock with 32 minutes of possession compared to Denver's 28 minutes. They were 4 for 13 on third downs. Not perfect, but effective enough. At the end of the day, it's all about stacking wins, and right now the Steelers are doing just that. Stay tuned, folks. It's going to be an interesting season. All right, let's talk about some key takeaways from this game, starting with the penalties. Just like in Week 1, penalties were a big factor, and we'll dive into that in a moment. The Steelers' offense only managed 251 yards today, while the defense gave up 295. But a lot of that was in garbage time, so the numbers don't really tell the full story. Defensively, the Steelers were all over Bo Nix and the Broncos' running game. It was a dominant performance. I've said it before, and I'll say it again. It doesn't matter who the Steelers start at quarterback. Whether it's Justin Fields, Russell Wilson, or even a random guy off the street, this defense is just that good. They've been the real heroes, and Fields has done enough to win games these last 2 weeks. Now, I know some people might dismiss the win because Nix is a rookie with only 1 full game under his belt, but let's not underestimate the Broncos. Their defense is solid, and honestly, their roster as a whole is underrated. The Steelers only managed 251 yards of total offense, but they didn't need much more thanks to how well the defense played. That being said, the penalties? Yeah, those were a problem. The biggest offender was Broderick Jones, who racked up 3 penalties in a single possession. Eventually, they had to bench him for Troy Fumagalli. It's going to take time for this offensive line to build chemistry, especially with a team that's juggling quarterbacks. Whether it's Russ or Fields, both QBs have struggled with sacks, whether it's due to holding onto the ball too long, mobility issues, or just offensive line breakdowns. But credit where it's due, the offensive line has been holding its own overall. The Steelers were flagged for 10 penalties today, costing them 78 yards, and that's something they need to clean up. But here's the big stat: 0 turnovers, no fumbles, no interceptions. And that's the most important thing when you're running with a backup quarterback. Now let's look at the numbers. Justin Fields went 13 for 20 for 117 yards with 1 touchdown, and, crucially, no interceptions or fumbles. Najee Harris had a solid night, carrying the ball 17 times for 69 yards, while Jaylen Warren chipped in with 9 carries for 42 yards, averaging 4.7 yards per carry. Fields didn't make much noise with his legs today. 8 carries for 27 yards. But he did enough to move the chains and let the defense take care of the rest. When you're starting a backup quarterback, sometimes it's just that simple. Move the ball, put points on the board, and let your defense do its thing. Now, as for whether Fields should remain the starting quarterback once Russ gets healthy, that's a conversation we'll need to have down the road. But for now, let's not forget, you've just won 2 football games with a backup QB. Russell Wilson is a good quarterback, and Fields is a starting caliber QB in his own right, but Russ was named the starter for a reason. For now, Fields is stepping up when the team needs him. The bottom line? The Steelers are winning, and that's what matters. All right, let's wrap this up. Justin Fields is doing exactly what he needs to do, and yes, we might have gone on a bit of a rant tonight, but it's worth it. Sure, Fields had a brief fumble, but there were some standout defensive plays to balance it out. KZ had the game-sealing interception, and Trice pulled off a clutch pick of his own. Mike and Fitzpatrick, Deshaun Elliott, and the rest of the defense were all over the field. You've got Alex Highsmith and TJ Watt getting sacks and pressuring the quarterback, and Patrick Queen making plays everywhere. This defense is just on another level, and Steelers fans know it. I've been saying it since the start of the season. Pittsburgh is on track for at least 10 wins. Now, if either Russ or Justin Fields can take their game to the next level, the sky's the limit for the Steelers. Sure, it wasn't the prettiest game, but hey, it's only week 2. What really matters is that the Steelers are 2-0. Thanks for tuning in. If you enjoyed the video, hit that like button and subscribe for daily NFL content and tons of Steelers updates. Drop your thoughts in the comments below, and we'll catch you in a few days.